Hello there, welcome back to the Ogre, the old Git Reacts, Reviews and Off Times Reminiscences. Today we're doing the Gloomy Radiance of the Moon, which is a glorious name for a band or an artist. When I first listened to this, I was umming and ahhing. It's one of those albums that you need to perhaps, well, I personally need to listen to once or twice just to make sure that I wasn't getting carried away with the first listen, which does happen to me. I'll listen to something initially and go, "Oh, I like that," and then sort of 10 listens down the line, I sort of think, maybe not. So I've listened to this, excuse me, 2 or 3 times, if not more. In fact, more. I'm safe in the belief now that it is a cracking album. So listen to a song from it. I will say it isn't my usual listening, sort of usual black metal listening, but as happened to me many times before, there are exceptions to everything, really. But anyway, let's go. So the immediate impression of this, 2 things really. One is the absolute clatter along of the drums, which is what initially sort of hooked me into listen to it properly. And secondly, that wash of synthesizer, and therein lies the caution that I had for this album initially. Certain styles of keyboard I can never get. They can never convince me that I can get round to liking them. And initially, it wasn't a case with these particular synthesizers, but there was enough of a warning sign there, if you like, for me to sort of consider it more and listen to it more. But it's convinced me. So, it is a rich sweep of synthesizer, such that the guitar's really sort of way back in the mix, and you can't sort of, if you don't like synthesizers, you can't just concentrate on the guitar on this to that, and you wouldn't, of course, because that's not the point of this particular music. But the point I'm making is, if you want to be rescued by the guitar here, you ain't gonna be. Yes, it is that sort of keyboard sound that I hear in lots of twee symphonic metal and symphonic black metal that just very often, and mostly in fact, turns me off. But not so here, not so here. course, the dichotomy of an absolute barrage of drums, you know, that sort of onslaught with the I won't say silkiness, but this smoothness of the keyboards. But no, that's not even right either, because this is why I like these keyboards as opposed to not. It isn't a smooth keyboard. It's got that tremor to it, sort of tremolo, I suppose, sort of sound to it, sort of off kilterness to the keyboard sound, which stops it becoming. Trouble with keyboards is very often they sound too nice, and these don't. That they have drama and impact, and there is a sharpness to them, and they do remind me of some mad deranged pianist letting loose on the some diabolical church organ in some sort of cathedral of darkness somewhere, and of course you can't escape the cosmic nature of this either. It has got that sort of aspect of being out in the cold beyond, watching supernovae and galaxy mergers and that sort of thing. I don't suppose you can't have an album like this without one of the songs somewhere having some sort of angelic chorus to it. Not that whether you call it angelic is a matter of perspective, I suppose. But and again, because it's buried amongst all the other tumult, I'm quite happy to hear it in there. It just struck me actually, going off at a tangent as usual, that there's something familiar about this band or this artist, and it's just staring me in the face really, looking at the Bandcamp page. I listened to their previous album, which didn't grab me enough to buy it, whereas this one has. So obviously a progression of sorts insofar as my taste in music. But yes, something else I was going to say. Oh, another thing. And again, totally nothing to do with music, is looking at the album cover. It just reminds me at the moment I'm going through the Death Trilogy by Terry Pratchett, which is always worth a read. It'll make you chuckle, if nothing else. Anyway, yes. So yes, absolute. It's one of those sounds. It is a wall of sound. There are different sorts of wall of sounds, of course, and this one has got that sort of. Let's have to use the word cosmic. Shall I use it again? Yes, I shall. A cosmic feel to it, as well as into the diabolical, and certainly into the deranged. The sort of sometimes you can anticipate where a music chords in music are going to go, and that's not necessarily the case here. You are again, it is that sort of the reason I quite like this. It's not comforting in the sense that it's predictable either. So it's all a big win, really, isn't it? It certainly is. So, excuse me, there you go, an absolute drenching of synthesizer amongst the racket there, and it was a racket, you know, and that is the perfect sort of synthesizer accompaniment for me, is where you do have quite a, I mean, that wasn't lo-fi, but it wasn't bright either, and there was still a bit of murk there, a bit of cosmic dust, if you will. So, and when you find yourself in a position whereby the synthesizers doesn't take away from the abrasiveness of the rest of the music, then you can be nothing but happy. So the rest of the album is awash with similar sort of music, as I suppose you'd expect, really. But you know, it is a glorious listen, and it does, for someone like me who is very picky about synthesizer in black metal, it does please me greatly, but it did take a little bit of convincing initially, but the reward was all the better for it in the end. Anyway, clicky bollocks, catch you all next time, cheerio.